Welcome to This is Talking Sci-Fi with Sci-Fi Sean, this guy right here, and
Just Randy.
And we have our good friend from Happy Hour with Johnny and Duce, the Duce.
What's going on, guys? Man, I'm so excited to be here. It's been a fun Sunday morning. Man, I'm having an absolute blast, and I'm glad to be here with one of my longtime old good friends, Sean. I love you, brother.
I love you.
And my new best friend, Randy, over here, man. We are having a great time this morning. We're talking about SYFY Bartow, how much fun we had. And you said you wanted to talk about the cosplayers, because that's the one thing we really kind of haven't hit yet, which I think is a big piece of the puzzle.
Before we move on, you said your best friend and then your new best friend, but hey, I'd die for you. I'll take a bullet.
It got deep. It got deep, didn't it?
So Randy, he won't. He'll run. I'll be there for you.
Yeah, but he's got more body mass, though.
Johnny,
he's got more places for the bullet to go.
Johnny, not so much.
Yeah.
You're taking it, Johnny.
Well, that's the thing. Johnny's losing all this weight, so he's not a good bullet shield anymore.
I didn't even recognize him.
Oh,
He came out and spoke to me like, who the hell is this guy?
So Facebook shows you like those memories, right? And it showed us of last year, and me and Johnny look like the Blubber twins. Yeah. I was a big boy. I was a big boy, and thank goodness I've been doing some lifting, doing some heavy work at my job, and I've lost a lot of weight. But Johnny is leaps and bounds above me, because I show him that picture and you look at him now, it's like a night and day difference. The man he's the incredible shrinking man. Like, he just keeps getting smaller and smaller.
Well, we really appreciate you being on the show today, because I know you guys have a busy schedule. I've been talking about you on the show, and you know, I'm glad you had a chance to come down. But we're going to get back to kind of breaking down SYFY Bartow. If you watched episode 1, we kind of went into the dark side. Thanks, Randy, for all that. So if you missed the first episode, go back and watch it. No, I take that back. Don't go back and watch the first episode. No, go back and watch it.
Yeah, absolutely.
There were some good parts, and it was great. But you know, we're going to talk about the cosplayers and the costuming at SYFY Bartow 2020, because it was amazing.
As always.
The problem with having a show that draws so many people like SYFY Bartow, which I never imagined in the years it would grow to having over 30,000 people, you miss a lot of things.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So what I want to do in this show is kind of break down what I saw, what you saw, and what Duce saw with the costuming. So we'll start with you as our guest today.
Well, I'm going to try and choose my words carefully on this. You had Cosplay Alley, which was over by Hacienda. The amazing Werewoman cosplay was there.
Yeah.
You know, you had a couple other cosplayers there. My only, and complaint isn't the right word, maybe
Constructive criticism.
I like that word better.
There you go.
Is you probably need to pad that out more, just because it was Werewoman cosplay.
She did an amazing job.
Oh,
She was a mermaid when I walked by one time.
No.
Who am I thinking of?
That was the girl that was next to her.
Oh, okay.
She was a dark fae.
Right, okay. You're right. You're right.
A dark fae, I think. She had to explain it to me.
I've seen a mermaid at one time. So.
No, she was a booth right next to her.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, because that was the only time I thought
I was going to have
to throw hands.
What did Wearing Woman do? Did she do the Captain Marvel again, or what?
No. She did Captain Marvel last year. This year she did a dark fae, which is like a dark elf, and then the Ariel was right next to her, and then the 501st Legion.
That was Cookie Cutter cosplay, I think is what it was called.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the 501st was like across from them.
They did an amazing job.
They always kill it. They do a great. God bless you, 501st. You're a great organization. You do a lot for charity. We greatly appreciate that.
They had more Star Wars people this year than they ever had.
Yeah, because they did the parade right down Main Street, and that thing was legit. Like, I was like, oh snap! Like, there was a lot of people. So
I know where you're going with the Cosplay Alley. That's changing next year, because Lori and I are already wanting to talk about it, because the problem we have, and not sounding like I'm not a greedy promoter that makes all this money. I volunteer. I'm the volunteer promoter. Main Street Bartow Incorporated, which is a nonprofit organization, is who all the money from vendors and sponsors go to. And the beer tent, all that goes to them. So they racked up. The problem I'm having is I'm having more and more vendors show up that want spots. And cosplayers, I had to put a stop to it this year because I have so many, and I get sucked into that world of I'm a cosplayer and I'm wearing negligees and stuff. That's not cosplay, even though it's awesome and I like it. I've had that problem, and it's been a learning experience with us.
Well,
I have a family show, and I have to be careful.
It's a family show, and you've got to be careful because. And God bless, I love you cosplayers. I love you guys to death.
I do too.
You have to understand that this event is a family-friendly event, so some of your cosplays are not going to be as acceptable. I do comedy. That's what I do.
Yep.
As a comedian, you got to read the room. You've got to know that these jokes aren't going to hit because it's not that kind of audience.
Right.
And as a cosplayer, you got to know, okay, maybe I need to wear something a little bit more conservative, not as... risque, maybe is a good word.
That would be a good word, yes.
As maybe
you know where I'm going with this, don't you, Randy?
But, I want to know more of what happened because I don't get to walk around much this year.
Well,
I remember 3 years ago
the half naked lady showed up. Yeah, we had to have we had to have Bartow PD escort someone out because I had.
But she wasn't like a cosplayer had a booth. It was somebody just showed up
in a costume.
Okay.
Right. And in their defense, they probably watched the show. They did something. It was my first year that had Chuck Dixon, and it was one of his comic book things that he made. It was a caveman or something like that.
Okay.
And the lady had a nice cape on, beautiful young lady.
Oh, yes.
And she had little pasties over her nipples. Nipples is okay.
It's scientific.
It was scientific, yes. But then I had 3 Bartow commissioners run up to me and 2 to Lori and say, "There's a half-naked woman walking down." Now you have to understand, Bartow.
And then Sean went, "Where?"
And that's exactly what I did. And I seen who it was because they were trying to get in the costume contest, which was differently run than it is now. We do a prejudging. We didn't now. They would not have made it through prejudging.
Right.
So, and the gentleman knew me, and I was familiar with him, I think it was number 2. I think it was number 2 or 3 of Sci-Fi Bartow. And I went up and I'm like, you got to remember, Bartow's a very conservative town, and 99% of the people that are in the know in Bartow know nothing about science fiction. Right. So they depend on me. So I'm the go-to guy. So if anything weird like that happens, they come to Sean and Lori because we are the head and the face of Sci-Fi Bartow.
Right. Well, and sometimes they need to conceptualize and contextualize what's going on. Like, hey, she's wearing this. Is this a part of what you guys are doing? Are you cool with this? Because, and we personally, my brother's a sheriff's officer. We love our police department. We love our sheriffs and all that stuff.
Absolutely.
But these people are working. They're on the job, and they may not be well versed in all this fandom and canon and things, so they don't understand everything. And they're like, "Look, this young lady is maybe showing a little bit more skin than we like, and let's go talk to somebody and see what's going on," which is good on their part. It's not like you know what I mean.
Yeah,
like he came to you and talked to you about it first.
No, actually, no, he didn't. I was brought to him. He was screaming at me because he couldn't understand, and I tried to explain this to him. Yeah. Now, even at your bigger conventions, they stop stuff at a certain level. Do they not? I've never seen anything like that at a super convention or anything. Have you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they're in Orlando. They're in Tampa. They're not in Bartow.
Well, I'm just saying, if I can see your areola, you know what I'm saying? I don't know Braille, but I think I could figure it out. And when it's like that, it's like, whoa, you guys are just letting it all go out. But then again, they're a big convention. They've got the money for it, and they're just like, we're going to let people do whatever they want within reason.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of those big conventions come in from out of state and stuff, and they don't understand, that... Well, maybe they do. I don't know. So,
well, here's the thing: they're in a big city like Orlando, a little bit more liberal.
Yep.
We're here in Bartow. We're a little bit more conservative. We have the way we like to do things, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
Polk County, born and raised, been here my entire life. Happy Hour, Johnny and Duce is the #1 podcast in Polk County, which I'm very proud of. But we do things our own little way, and it's like that might fly in a big city like Orlando or Tampa, but here in Bartow, we don't want the children to see that, and we don't want whatever. And I respect that. I respect that the sheriff's officer was like, hey, I can see your nipple. Like, how about we not do this? And
it was Bartow PD, so that's Bartow people.
Bartow PD, sorry.
But I agree with it.
Like, I agree with it. Like, you've got to tone it down because it's a family-friendly event, which this is one thing I love about Sci-Fi Bartow, which is kind of the weirdest dichotomy you will ever see.
That's a big word for our show.
Right.
That's why we're the only number 2 podcast in the whole county. It's because of dichotomy words and stuff like that.
That's why we looked at each other.
What does that mean?
Dichotomy? It's like a little bit of both sides. So, like, it's fun because it's very family-friendly, and, like, we want the kids to have a good time. We want to have adults to have a good time. But also what I think is fun is it's also kind of a little bit of a boozy con. Not crazy, but, like, you've got a beer tent. You've got people, having drinks and walking around. So it's this fun little nebula, neutral zone, if you will, of, like, a party. Like,
it's like the Q continuum for you Star Trek
There
fans.
you go. There you go. Because you can have fun. You can bring your kids. You're going to have a good time. And, we're looking out for their safety and making sure they see things they should and shouldn't see. But also you can have a drink and have a good time.
It's an outdoor street festival.
Yeah.
You've been to these art shows and stuff that are outside. Winter Haven, where you live, has a big one. And, and that's what it is.
God, you guys have a big one. You've got the Honeybee Festival and you've got the Flower Festival.
Bloomin' Arts. We have the Chalk Walk now, which is amazing.
That is insane.
Have you been to that yet?
I have not. I've only seen it on Facebook, but I want to go this year.
There are sci-fi people that come to that, and a guy did Wolverine this year. Nice. And unfortunately, it rained almost right on top of it.
So we're talking about Tatas from 3 years ago. Did something happen that I didn't know about?
It was
this year.
Yeah,
no,
y'all were talking about Cosplay Alley and
no, we went off on that.
About me throwing hands or wanting to throw hands? Okay.
Wait a second. I'll tell you why. You got 3 guys doing a podcast, and tits come up. We're going to focus on that for a good 10 or 20 minutes. It was 3 years ago, people. Everything's smoothed out. So if you're coming to Sci-Fi Bartow for a peep show, you're not gonna get it. I'm sorry.
No, bro.
But the costuming this year was amazing. We mentioned the 501st, which is always amazing. I think I saw more Jawas, which is the popular costume now because of that show y'all guys, that show y'all watched that y'all like that I can't stand.
Did you see the woman with the egg, the carpeted egg?
Yes, I did.
It
was amazing. She had the egg.
Dope.
Yep, it was really awesome.
She was in the parade for us, and the parade, I want to say, was only a week or 2 after that episode.
Yes.
And she had that egg already in the parade.
Really?
With brown shag carpet on it. Looked just like almost like in the Mandalorian. So,
but the cosplaying and the costuming was amazing, and that's what that's why Laura and I built Sci-Fi Bartow for the cosplayers, the costume enthusiast.
That's why I shared all your videos, Sci-Fi Bartow for the cars. Sci-Fi Bartow and Bartow for the cosplayers.
Yeah, for the cosplayers. Yeah. And it's for the artists like Josh and
Kitchen Killers, those guys.
And they're all and musicians and authors. One thing that we had, I know I'm going to jump off the cosplayers for a minute, but we have a lot of authors there, and they all did amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway, all the art.
You're locked in.
Yep. All the authors, artists, everyone did fantastic. Cosplay Alley, I've changed to Steampunk Alley, and that's kind of what we've done. Yeah. But I'm gonna start spreading the cosplayers out a little bit more because I want them to get love and all that. What do you think? What's your opinion on that? Leave them there.
This is my very, very humble opinion. I would keep Cosplay Alley the same because if you go to the bigger conventions, that's how it is. All the cosplayers are together.
And they're together, right? Mm-hmm.
If you're a cosplay fan, you're going to want to see the cosplayers, and you're going to go and find them. My only thing would be expand it and make it bigger because my only concern is probably not the right word. My only constructive criticism, the word you used, was I think I could count on one hand the number of professional cosplayers that were there that had a table. Am I wrong?
No, you're right.
Okay.
We had less contact us because we've been noticing a trend in the cosplay world from our perspective. Not so many. When we first started Sci-Fi Bartow, I had 30 people that wanted to have a cosplay table.
I remember the second and third year, you had just literally a street, and there would have been anywhere between 15 and 20 cosplayers crammed on it because at the last minute, everybody wants to show up. Everybody wants to come, and then
over the years, I have shaved down Cosplay Alley because a lot of them they're fantastic costume artists, but they bring some drama with them.
I was about to say I feel a big old fat butt coming on.
I can't have that at Sci-Fi Bartow. I can't have scantily clad cosplayers and I had to trim a couple of those out of there. Fantastic costumes, I love them. And yes, I want to grow it, but this year we only had maybe half a dozen contact us. We go through a screening process. I check everyone out. We had Gotham Underground. They do great DC cosplay. The gentleman that does the Penguin. I don't want to say his true identity. He may not want that, but his entire family. They have a great Catwoman.
Yeah, there's like 4 or 5 of them. Like they're a big deal.
And they came
were at
Riddler and Scarecrow,
Central Florida Comic Con. Yeah.
And they come to all the Batman days we have at Main Street Comics as well. They did fantastic. He's very respectful and all that. I gotta have that. I gotta have
probably one of the nicest, and not just nicest. Like he's very business-like isn't the right word, but he's very respectable. It's like I know what I'm doing. I'm running.
He's a good Oswald. He's a good Oswald Cobblepot in real life. You know,
right? So. Because he's like, I know what I'm doing. I'm doing this cosplay business. I'm going to be respectable. I'm going to show up. I'm going to do a good job. Yeah. You know, he treats it like a job.
Another thing you have to worry about, and again, where I was going a minute ago, I'm not some evil promoter wanting all this money. I got to have space for vendors because we have grown. We went from having just about 100 vendors last year to 155 vendors this year.
Wow, that's crazy.
So then it becomes I want to give space for this, and I will always have space for cosplayers. It just may be shifted around a little bit. Right. And it's strict that I have this rule that if I give away free cosplay space, don't sell anything. I've had people hedge on that a little bit, and it happened this year a couple of times.
Let me rewind that and ask some questions.
Sure.
Just so
absolutely.
I understand. So let's say I'm cosplayer X, and you're like, hey, I will give you a spot to do your cosplay here on Cosplay Alley.
Right.
Now I'm not allowed to sell prints or anything like that, or how does that work? Explain that to me.
Prints I'm okay with.
Okay.
Because that's cool.
The pictures, yeah.
And I tell them that when they get on the list. I just don't need them to be a full-blown vendor selling stuff.
Yeah, so like if I'm selling my prints, that's cool. But if I'm selling prints and then also
something
I make
you've made at home,
tchotchkes, and I make cups, and I make I don't know,
It happens. It happens at the car show as well. Okay. I have some of the car show.
Are they selling popcorn out of the back of a Fiat? What are they doing over there?
And I don't want to get into it. This is not the time or place to get into it because
real sticky wicket, if you will.
Now I know that some of the bigger conventions charge for cosplay space, and I don't want to do that at Sci-Fi Bartow.
It depends. It depends on the size of the cosplayer.
Correct.
Like if they're, a newer cosplayer, then yes, they have to pay for the space. But like a lot of the big conventions, like one of our good friends, my Sophie, we love her so much. She's amazing. I wish she was in our state and she would come and see us more. But like they pay her to go to conventions because she's so big and's got such a big following. Yeah. And same thing with, other big cosplayers. They have such a big following that it's like, no, you're going to pay me to come out because I'm bringing all this social media, all this, these people. Mm-hmm. But it's amazing the cosplayers you do come out. But I will say this, and you two can plug your ears and you can edit this out if you want to. If you're a cosplayer and you've been blessed to come to this convention, they give you a spot, show the fuck up.
Correct. We lost 2 this year.
My French. You're right. This is the only time I've cursed all day, which I need a medal because that is not something Duce does. Is not cuss on a podcast, but
that's bullcrap. I've been on your podcast before.
No, I'm not cuss is what I'm saying.
We cuss.
I cuss like sailors.
Yeah, I know.
But I've been trying to be G-rated because I know that this is more of a family show.
No, I say the F word. I've had to back off.
That is. The reason I use that word is because it's a point I want to emphasize. Right. If you've been blessed with he gave you a free spot to this show, you better be giving your mother a kidney or something crazy to not show up because allegedly, I'll throw that word out so my lawyer gets paid this week. Allegedly, some people have called out, or have called out maybe the night before, like, we're not going to make it. And I'm like, why? You are getting a free spot at a convention with tons of people to show your cosplay. Like, what short bus did you go to school to pull this off?
And being a promoter type that puts this together, it puts us in a very bad situation because we have turned vendors away that we could have given that spot to.
It's like if I knew you were going to be here, I could have given this to,
and it's cool,
XYZ vendor over here.
And I want
the money.
And I'm not hating on the cosplayers. I want them to be there, but if you're going to say you're going to be here, we only allow maybe 10 least we had this year, I think, was 5.
Yeah, I think
and that's not including.
5.
Yeah, and we're not including 501st. So
then it might have been 4.
Yeah,
'Cause I think 5 was including 501st because I know it was 501st, Werewoman Cosplay,
Cookie Cutter,
Gotham Underground, and
what you call it? They were not on Cosplay Alley. Well, you got to remember, I have the USS Haven, which is a cosplay organization.
Are they?
I
thought they were more like a Star Trek club.
We consider them a cosplayer.
Okay.
We have the Klingons.
Yeah.
They had their own place.
They came this year?
Yes.
I thought it was...
No.
Never mind. Sorry. Yeah, the different conversation.
Yep, different conversation for another time.
Yep.
We had Guardians of Justice. They were down on right across from where you guys were, actually. And they're a big cosplay organization.
God bless them, the Guardians of Justice. They're a great group. Mm-hmm. They do a lot for children. They do a lot to give out to the community. So I want to give a big shout out to Guardians of Justice.
Absolutely.
Go find them on Facebook. Just Google search them. Go check them out. Donate money if you can, because what they're doing it's awesome.
It's phenomenal.
They go see kids, in the hospital with cancer and things like that, and that's, we have been blessed. As our podcast, every year we come back to this event stronger, and we've gotten more followers, and we've gotten new people to come on board the train. We've got new sponsors, which I think some of that, I can't say a lot of it, but some of that definitely is from you guys, because your event always brings us more people and other events we do. But as a business owner, coming to this event is going to change the landscape of your business.
Absolutely. I'm going to tell you this flat out. We've gotten into some background stuff on these 2 episodes that should have been discussed outside, but I don't care because I'm going to say it. I'm an open book.
Right. Yeah.
We have some great people. Romeo has always been with us. Pikachu has always been with us. Knight Rider, a lot of Lightning McQueen guy, he loves us. There's always going to be some. You had cars this year I haven't seen in 7 years. The Terminator truck. I've never seen that before. Yeah. I have to take care of Main Street Bartow. That's who this is for. That's why we got to watch the nudity and the family friendly and the spaces we're selling and things.
To begin and read the room. Like, this is a family friendly event. It's in downtown Bartow. We are kind of conservative here in Polk County. So, come have fun, but also read the room. Make sure that your cosplay is not over the top. It's not too sexual. It's, and I don't think that is an unfair thing to ask.
You're right.
And also, I don't think it's an unfair thing to ask if this man gives you the opportunity to come and have a booth and have all these people in front of you. Just show up. It's not, I'm not asking you to give me a kidney.
Right.
Like,
See, and you see that because you're in business. We're going to have to break down and we're going to have to stop this episode, but I want to do a couple shout outs. I'm going to let Duce do a couple shout outs too for their people.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know I had one of your sponsors set up a booth at SYFY Bartow?
Yeah.
Dombrowski's.
Doombrowski's.
Doombrowski's, yes.
Doombrowski's, and I'm going to mess it up because I always do. It's Doombrowski's Games and Comics, or if I got it wrong, it's Doombrowski's Comics and Games, because I always screw it up. But he came because I told him, I was like, man, you've got to come to this. It's a good show. I love them. That's my comic book shop in Winter Haven. I go there every week. They're great. They're amazing. So
they did well from what I understood.
They supposedly had a good day, but it was also nice to let people know because I've got to give them a plug just because they're one of your main sponsors.
Do it.
Main Street. I'm going to
Main Street Comics and Memorabilia.
Thank you. We're there. But it was also nice to have my local Winter Haven, because, I don't live in Bartow, I live in Winter Haven. My local comic book shop, Doombrowski's, representing and kind of.
You have to understand.
You got to throw them a little love, and just be like, it's my local store.
Right. If you guys are watching from Dombrowski's, you have to understand something. My wife Laura and I do this for Main Street Bartow for the brick and mortar businesses.
Right.
I don't like to step on toes, but before you guys are even allowed to come in with your application, I had to clear it with Main Street.
Oh, really?
Are you okay with us? And I do it with the restaurants too, the food trucks. It's everything.
I didn't know that.
And 3 years ago, because he's only been here 3 years ago, after he did his first sci-fi, the owner of Main Street Comics came to me and says, I know eventually you're going to have other comic book stores here, and I'm okay with that. I said, as long as you're okay with it, because I didn't want to step on any toes. That's how come I allowed them to come in, and I'm glad that you guys did, and they've already told Laura they want to come back next year, so we're good to go.
Yeah. Ryan had a great time. He loved it, so he can't wait to come back. And on the next episode, I might tell you about another sponsor maybe coming and I think you guys are going to be excited. But you can find us at HH Podcast Show on the Twitter machine, hhpodcastshow@gmail.com. Don't forget to send us your questions for Spicy Deuces, our own take on hot ones, and just put Spicy Deuces in the subject line so we can send those to Brandy so we don't see the questions. You can hit us up at facebook.com/Happy Hour Podcast Show and soundcloud.com/Happy Hour Podcast. Hear all of our episodes, including episodes we tape live at SYFY Bartow. And if you really want to dig deep, we've got episodes from every single SYFY Bartow except for the first one. So you can kind of see how this whole thing has grown and evolved, and it's really, really interesting. So I think you guys will like it.
I want to thank Duce from Happy Hour with Johnny and Duce. Make sure you check out all the information. He said we're going to be on their show in the near future, and just so you know, we're going to say we're the #1 podcast in Polk County. So,
are you now?
Yep. Okay.
Steel cage match.
I'm just going to tell you that.
No, we've got to next year. We've got to do it, and we've got to hang it from the rafters. The #1 podcast. And then you've got to get it like a title.
You see that chair that Randy's sitting in has the Sci-Fi Bartow logo?
Yeah,
that's going to be your face.
That's going to be my face. There we go.
No, listen, I'm good. I've been friends with Johnny and Duce for a long time, and I'm just glad they're on the show. I'm going to tell you about some of our sponsors because Randy's giving me because Randy can't speak normal because he's always got a cheeseburger or something in his mouth. But Main Street Bartow Incorporated. I'm talking about sponsors. It's my floor.
Oh, yeah.
Main Street Bartow Incorporated. Thank you guys. Chilton Signs, Main Street Comics and Memorabilia, S&L Restaurant.
Speaking of cheeseburgers.
Yes, they're fabulous if you have not been there yet. There's Iron Easel. I talked about Chilton Signs. Who am I forgetting? There's somebody. SLS Entertainment, which is my entertainment company. Randy for just Randy, because if you see Randy on this show, he does so much more on the internet, but it doesn't involve nipples yet. So we're going to work on that. But I want to thank everybody.
Nipple free since '93.
There you go, nipple free. Pretty much me too. We're going to see you next time on This Is Talking Sci-Fi with Sci-Fi Sean and what's your name? And Duce on the loose.
On the loose.
See you next time.
Have a great day.
Bye.